Hey guys, if you like this content, I would greatly appreciate it if you guys like the video and subscribed to my channel. It helps make these videos worth it going forward.
What's up, guys? Altcoin Sherpa here with a crypto market review. As always, this is not financial advice. I'm not an expert to do on research. Okay, so I recently got a new monitor, so um, I'm now back to 2, thank God. And I actually filmed this exact video just now, but then the formatting was all fucked up. So here I am again. I will hopefully get this one right. Anyways, now that I can see the entire chart, I will be going through several altcoins that I think that look pretty good in the mid-short term. I don't know if these will all be full reversals, and I also want to tell you that it's always going to depend on what Bitcoin does. For instance, if Bitcoin makes another big leg down, then we are going to see some altcoin destruction, anywhere from, I would say, like 20 to like 60% from these current lows, if not more. But with that said, there are some altcoins that I'm looking at that look pretty interesting to me. Now, you also need to be very careful and cautious, as I said, based on Bitcoin and Bitcoin's price action. And just note that 80% of altcoins, or if not more, are just pulling back. 90%. Most of the altcoin charts look pretty trashed. But with that said, there are some that look interesting, and let's just get to it. So here's Kyber Network. This was an old DeFi coin. The KNC BTC chart looks a little bit different back in 2020, but this one had a very strong run in 2021, and then it pulled back very hard. As with many other ETH DeFi native coins, like ETH DeFi number 1.0, we saw a lot of them just really pull back quite a bit and then not recover. And this is a good example of one that really just never came back close to the highs back in April of 2021. And we're not so far off from a year from that point, from its last parabolic run. So why do I think Kyber looks good? I think that Kyber looks good because it is thriving in an environment right now that is very, very dangerous for altcoins. So altcoins, as I said, are mostly pulling back, but what we're seeing for KNC is that this one's really just every dip is getting bought up very strongly, decent buy volume coming in, and it's really the fact that this is thriving in an environment where altcoins are mostly pulling back and dying. That's the really key thing to look at. Usually, when coins are doing that, they're obviously strong as fuck, and usually a big move is happening. And to me, this looks sort of like a vertical accumulation. Um, it's a bit hard to find these entries, and I would probably just be patient and look for something like a $1.50 or something like that, and just hope that you get some like long wicks similar to what we saw back in January 22nd and January 25th. But when you see vertical accumulation like this, it's a little bit hard to find clear levels, in my opinion. Um, with that said, I do think that this one looks very strong, and I would just consider buying any dip personally. Looking for resistance levels, I would look for around 240 or so. I mean, you can see clear areas of resistance all throughout this area, and yeah, to me this looks pretty strong still. Link looks interesting to me. This is one that is at the range lows, and similarly, we see very high sell volume coming in. When you see high sell volume coming in, this usually means that a trend reversal is coming. Now, I'm not saying that we're seeing something like similar to like what we saw back in May, but there was a large amount of selling going on for Link, and as I said, it is at its range lows at $14. So to me, this looks like a pretty decent area to consider buying. There are a few strategies you can take. You can probably just look to buy any dip for Link, and I think that it's possible that we might see some sort of like return back lower as well, down to 15 or so, somewhat like a double bottom in the lower time frame charts. But to me, this looks pretty strong, given it's at the range lows, given its high sell volume, and given that we're seeing dips getting bought up pretty quickly. Now, I don't know if this is going to go all the way to the range highs. I think it's very unlikely, personally, but that doesn't mean that there still aren't some decent areas that you can consider bidding and then also taking profit. I would probably look for around the low 20s for the first target for sure, and then I would definitely do the mid 20s after that. It's a bit hard to figure out the levels for this entire range, to be frank and honest with you, because this is very choppy price action. What you could do is you could just fib it out, and what I mean by that is just fib this out, and then you would just use these fibs as take profit areas, and they usually coincide with SR levels too. So you can clearly see this 0.38, is this like SR level here, and then 26 is this 618. So there are some levels that you can look at for taking a trade on Link, but to me it looks pretty strong, and I would consider buying this one. Near is a coin that I am in right now. It looks stronger to me than other altcoins. I like the way that this looks in terms of it wicking down to this $10 area and all the bids getting filled. I do think that it's possible that we see maybe one last potential shakeout to $8 or so, and I do have bids there. But overall, this coin is held up pretty strong, and to me, this coin still looks a little bit better than many other coins right now. The overall market structure to me looked pretty bullish up until the January nuke, but to me, this still looks okay. I'm still kind of just DCAing into this coin, and I am maybe looking for one last shakeout, but to me it looks like pretty reasonable. AXS, this is a coin that looks very interesting to me. Unlike the other coins, this one's been pulling back for quite some time, many months, so it should have a different overall market. It should have like an overall different market timeline than some of the others. And when you see coins pulling back earlier, usually that means that they'll have a different timeline, as I said. So this coin may go and move harder and stronger and faster before other coins, because it was pulling back so much before. So this area around 37 to 50 or so, this is a demand area, and you can see it on a volume profile that is a high volume node around this area. To me, I would basically just be patient and dollar cost average in anywhere from 37 to I don't know, 45 or something like that. Just hope that these bids would get filled. But to me, I would just like to see a little more consolidation, and then I think that it's likely that this hits some sort of lower high. So an entry from 45 to $80 seems like a very possible trade to me personally. And you don't necessarily need a full reversal. You don't need this to go to 160, as I said. In fact, it's quite unlikely it does, but you can still hit a 2x or something like that from 45 to 90, or some of these levels up. It's certainly possible that this comes. So that's kind of what my strategy would be for AXS. I would just go ahead and buy anywhere in this green box personally. Solana has a similar idea. This one was pulling back as well, and to me, this kind of anywhere from 65 to $80 area was a demand area. High volume node as well, and I would just be patient and just kind of look for this area to get tapped. And I would just like to see this area get tapped several times, and then form some sort of bottom, and then probably hit this high volume node again around 140, and then probably come back down. I think that's the most likely scenario. I don't think this is going to go to all-time highs anytime soon, but I'm expecting this to hit some sort of lower high and then maybe come back down, form some sort of double bottom, and then just chop for a bit, something like that. Anyways, that's my overall kind of, these are the altcoins that I'm doing right now. I know that there are many others that I'm missing, but these are the ones that I'm looking at right now currently. I do think that these all look pretty reasonable, and be safe in this market environment.